How many of y'all? Fantastic. Thank you, Ismail, and thank you all for members of the panel. Now, before I take questions from the floor, let me make something very clear to you today. Now, if you notice, every speaker had their respective opinions about the theme. You know, some said yes, some said no. You know, no to certain things, yes to certain things. But the thing here is, we are not here today to judge what is right and wrong. Okay? We are here to know their opinions, and of course, every one of you have your respective opinions and thoughts on this as well. Okay? Now, on that note, we will be taking questions and revisiting what I said earlier. Please, when you forward your questions, stand up, say your name, and to who your question is directed to, and then string your question. Is that good? Yes. Okay? So, questions from the floor. Anyone? Oh, okay, the first gentleman in blue.
Hi, my name is Subati, and my question is to the youth parliamentarians. Recently, the youth parliament was talking about the legalization of medical marijuana. So, what are you guys going to do about it? Is it just stop only and no action, or are you guys yeah, but I expect some answers as well.
Okay, just hold the thought first, So the first question from Mr. Supardi on the legalization of drugs or marijuana? Marijuana, right? Okay.
Medical.
Okay. Second question. Here, okay.
Hi, my name is Nafis, so this question is for Shirasmi. Alright, there's an underlying assumption that secularism is kind of rampant and proliferate in the youth of today. So people have the common ground that secularism causes the youth to believe that, oh, I fulfilled my moral obligation only by retweeting things, on social media. So I want to know from your point of view, is that really true, and is that harmful towards the volunteerism industry? And how do we utilize selectivism to our own advantage, for volunteers everywhere?
Okay, thank you. We will take one last question, and the panel will answer the first three questions first. Okay.
Hi, good evening, guys. My name is Daniel. Might be a little personal question, but I'd like to know what made you guys, what was the first thing that made you guys wake up one day, open your eyes and thought, okay, let's do this. But conversely, what do you tell yourself when you wake up one day, open your eyes and say, I can't do this anymore? Thank you.
Sorry, to who? I think I will choose for you. Okay, so the first question on the legalization of marijuana, that would be Isham. Second one on secularism would be Azmi, right? And the last one would be for Rizmil. Is that okay? Oh, you want to answer the drugs one? Okay. So, Rizmil has two questions. No, Adam has one, which is the secularism part. Oh, no, sorry, Azmi. Adam has which one? The last one? Okay, so Adam. So basically everyone has one.
I don't know why they're afraid to answer about ganja. It's ganja, man. So once again, okay, you see, what we have discussed in the youth parliament was totally something different than what's been reported. The motion that was firstly, he came up with a motion to actually supervise to enhance the act to, what's it called in Malay again, right? The motion menambah baik undang sediada. What we were fighting for is not about the legalization of ganja, but more of decriminalizing ganja. Because we believe that, you can't be putting the same sentence on someone who's doing ganja and someone's doing heroin and ice and all that. So I did not participate in the debate. Because I wasn't playing safe, you don't know. Maybe, maybe I was on something before. No, but again, in youth parliament, there are some parties who supported and some who did not. Some went to one side of the extreme and another side. So one of my friends there actually he was just in this one of the radio talk show today talking about legalizing ganja. And right after he had his interview, the AADK agency straight away came out with a statement that kami membangkang sepenuhnya apa-apa agenda untuk melihat ganja sebagai satu dadah yang tidak berbahaya. But again, you see, when you do something, when you want to make a difference, when you want to decide, okay, I'm someone who's more realistic. I look at the things, I look to numbers. You know, sometimes people say numbers don't lie, numbers don't really lie. You see how many people have actually died because of ganja. You have, you know, the research has been done. There are some pros and some cons. I mean, you look, everything has pros and cons. It is up to us, it is up to the rakyat, to the people to decide. I mean, whether it is more beneficial or it's going to be more harmful. So it is not up for me to decide. If I will have to cast my vote, I will do it quietly lah. But that's my right. I don't have to tell you what on that part. So even in youth parliament itself, I mean, we celebrate the different opinion, almost like the diversity. Some of them even today in Facebook bawa keluar fatwa, you know, fatwa dan sebagainya, kata kembalilah kepada Islam. I'm not kidding. Some of these parliament, I mean, dia terasa lah macam tu. So he one side was saying, okay, we must, you know, decriminalize. So kembalilah kita kepada Islam, sahabat-sahabat. So you know, in the end, it's a voice of the majority. I mean, it's democracy. And I leave it to the majority. Okay? Thank you.
So I think just let Rizmil pick it up from there. Just complete the question. Rizmil, you want to enlighten us further on your opinion?
Okay, the guy that's responsible for the statement is right there, Ridwan. But okay, anyways, we came up with the motion that kita nak menambah baik undang-undang yang sedia ada dari segi penguasaan dan pemantarasan penyalahgunaan guna adat di negara kita. Because statistically, you know, just shortly, just explaining to people, there's about 26,668 drug addicts in 2015. Majority are Malays, partly are Chinese and Indians and others. So we came up with a statement to say that we believe that kita bawa usul, kita nak refine every of the 5 akta yang ada, especially the akta penyakit dadah, rawatan dan pemulihan. I think pindaan 1983 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Because selalunya siapa yang disabit positif dadah, you akan bawa ke penjara dan direman. Tetapi we believe that in a lot of other countries as well, it's more important to bring all these people yang kononnya dah disabit positif dadah and all that terus ke pusat rawatan khas ataupun hospital, just to basically enhance the proses pemulihan and rehabilitation process and all that. So that was our usul. But I discussed this with Ridwan as well the night before, is that we wanted to make bukan to make fun of the statement or whatever, but it's something really interesting to say that ganja bukan dadah, and then come back to the real statement, because that's the real issue, just to get people's attention. So after his statement, all the media bombarded him and myself, because I am always although, sebab satu, I kerja di Kementerian Dalam Negeri. Kedua, because tak boleh lagi. So, and then I cleared the air, even yesterday a few TV3 RTM and a few calls as well. Basically to say that we're not here to legalize marijuana. Basically, the statement is to focus on what's the issue at hand, that is to basically kita nak kuat-kuasakan undang-undang yang ada, to basically make it easier for the rehabilitation process for the drug addicts in Malaysia. That's it.
Okay. And so the next one was selectivism, and I believe the question was directed to Azmi. Your opinions?
Before that, I would like to comment on the question before. As a pharmacist, the strongest drug that we have available in related to that is codeine, morphine, petidine. The chances of people dying from those drugs is there. It's high, it's not even fighting. You lose family members over a simple 1 teaspoon of morphine. It is a very serious issue to talk about. I did cancer specialist for 2 years, and it's never enough pain. So basically, some people think that if they have other options, they would like to go for other options. It's not my right to say yes or no. Okay, volunteerism. Activism, is it? On which, I'm sorry, I really have to ask you to rephrase. Do you mind?
Selectivism.
Selectivism.
Yeah.
What's wrong about right now? On which ground do you want me to explain? It's really huge because I have pros and cons on that.
On the practicality of...
Okay. Okay, on the practicality of things like that, it actually depends on how far you want to go, how far you can go. If you talk about how far the impact that you want to make, okay, so that is a totally different thing. But for me personally, selectivism, I do it because there's an opportunity to try. I do it because there's an opportunity to see whether it's workable or not. I do it because there is a niche market that need it. I hope this answers the question. There was some part of the month in the year, I will normally write in my Facebook posting, hoping to die. And a lot of my followers hate it so much. But the reason why I write that way was to reach out to the people who was thinking the same way I was thinking that day, which is about 24% of my followers. And that's a problem that I pick up. Of course, my dad and my mom would just go inside my bed, okay, what happened now? Why are you killing yourself? So I said, no. I have to reach out to them. This is the best way. People can only, long time ago when I started doing this thing, I normally say that if you were to reach out to people, you have to follow the people. So sometimes it's a bit patibugil ke patibugil lah, but you have to go to where the people are because patibugil tak salah, to join it is salah. Okay? So because I believe in that, they must have a reason why they want to do it. It's wrong. So so that's how I actually see things. There is a need of everything. If we want only our own people in our clique, in a special club with our own mindset, then we get nowhere. You have to reach out to the ones that is not within you. So selectivism is important. And sometimes they don't like when I do things differently. Like I don't support abortion. I support. See, that's a different thing. Then whoa, So, but there's a reason and a place and time for everything. Like how do I say other things that make it more interesting? Okay, now I believe, okay, listen to this case. She sells herself for money to help the family. To her, it's not wrong, it's her body. So when she comes to me saying that, I like what you do, but you make me feel that it's wrong. Is it? And how am I supposed to say, no, it's okay? I cannot say that because there's other root of problem behind it. So I guess the one who's on the ground cannot dismiss this. This is the problem. We dismiss the one that is so complicated. I think he sees a lot of these things, and you cannot say, tomorrow lah, you cannot. It's stuck in your head. It becomes a big burden. So selectivism is important because you cannot see just because it's different, you don't want to do it, because of that. But then what makes it more interesting? Okay. So for me, that fuels the feeling of doing more. The more you do, I don't think it becomes more selective. The more good things you do, it becomes broader and more terrifying and depressing. But it's up to you to choose which one you want to do. Would that help?
Actually,
Or you want to add on? Because
it's not selectivism, it's slacktivism.
Slacktivism.
Last time. This experience is going to be so now. Kalangan that. And okay, the last question is rather interesting. I think this is for Adam, correct? Basically, what keeps you going? You know, at the point you're basically reaching that boiling point and also breaking. But what keeps you going every day?
Okay. His question was, what makes you get up from the bed and want to do something? Actually, even without leaving the bed, you can actually do something. Correct. 1969, Vietnam War. Yoko Ono and John Lennon actually banned in protest. They stayed in bed for I don't know how many months, and they call it. In 1995, Oasis made a song. I don't know, like a spontaneously. So I started a revolution from my bed. So actually, I tried. Maybe the revolution will start if I stay in my bed. But no, hell no, it didn't happen. So I got up from the bed and I decided that, well, we actually have to do something. I think there are many triggers, but there were many triggers, but one of it will be when I attended the university, and there are two cases. One, I attended university Pendidikan Sultan Idris, the SITC, where Ibrahim Yaakob and all the Sabang Melayu who started our independence struggle last time. The SITC belonged to them. They were the students of that university. So I have high respect. I look up to the institution. And then I saw Rumah Zabak, the nationalists, Rumah Zabak being treated as, they made it into a storeroom. They made it into a store. They keep all the gardening tools inside Rumah Zabak, which I think is not proper. And then that happened, and then students' election. Students' election. So I saw the candidates for the first time, and I thought, wow, not impressive. I don't want to use the harsher word, but not impressive. So that was a moment I thought that I've been looking up to student movement all this while, so I thought that actually we gotta do something. That something is not right there. So that's where I started, and then what keeps me going will be, awareness got me started. Awareness, I'm aware, I finally got enlightened. It's like something enlightened. Oh, something's wrong, we gotta do something. I have the energy. I may not have the money. I will have the money, but I have the energy, and maybe I have the time. So make use of it. That's my resources. And then I think that we have to give it a try, and we ought to give our society an opportunity for better condition, maybe. Because I believe if we decided not to do anything, then nothing will change, because I believe in the change. So I gotta do something. Now, what keeps me going will be because change has not yet happened for me individually, I think, my own perspective. So how can I stop? Because why change doesn't happen? Because other people that started before us, they stopped, and hence we can't get what we were fighting for before. So I think one of the reasons will be because it's not the perjuangan belum selesai, and then the second one will be because I think that it's unfair if I stop because my friends hasn't stopped. That's a good thing about being youth. You have a solidarity, you have something that we call friendship, brotherhood, or whatever you call it. And you look up to your friends, and people look up to you, and then you help each other, and it's a solidarity form there. And if someone decided to stop at one point, it will be very frustrating. And I don't want to be the one that made other people frustrated. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we will take the final 5 questions on the floor. Because we have time just for 5. So hands down again. Okay, because everyone's getting up at once. So 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. No, keep your hands up. 5. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll start from there first.
Hi, my name is Shafi. I think I would like Rizmel to answer this. Actually, I wanted, I want to, but I don't know if is that allowed. I want Adam to answer as well. Your view on, because I personally think that the way forward for Malaysia is for us to abolish all this, racial-based school, racial-based party, and so on. You create divide at the early age of 6, 7 years old. So, you teach kids to go to different schools and stuff. So do you think that it's still legit to have all these things in Malaysia, or do you think that it's obsolete?
Okay, so first question from Shafiq. Okay, second one earlier was here. Yes.
Good evening. Okay, I don't know what's the floor concern about this NATO or political or whatever, but I am more interested with the NATO itself. So, okay, I agree with Adam Ali that when we want to do something, but then we were told we can't do that. But I also agree with Izhar that the government already provided a platform for us to build a good manner character, professional approach, I guess. But for me, the platform doesn't capture what's our concern, my concern, for my friends' backgrounds, So I just want to ask, is it NATO meant for us or for you guys? Thank you.
Okay, great. That was a very interesting one. Okay, we will get back to that soon. The third question was here, right? At the back. Yeah. Oh, okay. I think we'll take you on.
My name is Najat. Directing this to Syed Azmi. Okay, basically I followed your postings for quite a while, but I just want to ask that sincere.
Yeah, I think
I talked really fast, sorry. Okay, so no, nothing like that. Okay, I realized that you're a very emotional person, and that you also use that as a strategy or a tool for you to pull people in. Is that some sort of strategy, or is it just yourself? Is it a method for you that you think is the best? Because sometimes people say that being objective is better than being emotional. And does that cloud your judgment as well? When you become too emotional, sometimes you can't really discern between right and wrong. So it can be kind of lost in translation. So how do you handle it?
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll take the fourth question from here.
Hi guys, my name is Andrew. I'd like to just open anyone who can answer this question. In regards to the question we had, the answer we had earlier, for focusing our efforts in talking about legalizing marijuana or preventive measures in helping the rehabilitation of people, don't you think we are focusing on the wrong bit? You're rehabilitating people who are already, say, okay, they are down the road halfway, they always get in, they go in again and again and again. I've seen people who get remanded on a weekly basis. He goes in, he comes out, 2 days he will be in again. He'll be there standing, oh, Guan, you lagi ah? Oh, okay, yeah, Guan. You know the process better than anyone in the room. Okay? Don't you think the focus should be on things like catching people who are giving out the drugs? Why are there so much access to drugs? And yet everyone is focusing on the drug addict, people who are at the end of the food chain, rather than focusing on the top of the food chain. Why are we not focusing on the big problems, but yet looking at this guy, he has 30 grams. Oh my God, that's 30 grams. Whereas you'll see people walking around, his bag will be with 30 kilos, and yet he's driving his vans, and then, oh, go on, yeah, thank you. You can go through the gates now, and go into a big building and give out the drugs. Why is that not our focus? Whereas we are focusing on things which are 50 million for rehabilitation, whereas where is the policy making? I'm just asking. Perhaps we should refocus.
I think that's a question for Rachel to answer later. Final question from.
Hi everyone, my name is Jason from UPSI. Actually my question untuk keempat-empat panel ini, but I want Adamati to answer first. Because I do believe the spirit yang ada di bawah Adamati bermula di UPSI maupun di SITC, tapi dengan cara yang berbeza, dan keempat-empat panelis kita juga membuat sesuatu yang terbaik untuk negara masing-masing. So my question is, apakah harapan Anda terhadap negara ini? Sekian, terima kasih.
So, interesting set of questions. Okay, we will start with the first one from Shafiq, which was directed for Rizmil. Should we abolish racial-based institutions, meaning schools, policies? Can you share thoughts?
Okay, I think I'll be very frank and be very blunt about this. I think, my personal view, I think it's time for us to change that. I don't believe in racial-based parties and schools and all that. But obviously it takes time for that to happen. And I think the government is slowly opening up. I think in our parliamentarian debates and stuff like that, we are opening to that as well. We don't believe in the bilingual schools that we have. We believe in the single stream school. I studied in the US and I see how the school works. And I think it has to start from there. Even after I was in school, I was able to sit down with my friends and from different religion, races and color, just, and have a good time and chat with them. I don't think so. Nowadays, when I go to school, I meet all the students, I don't see that a lot because of the racial-based slurs and whatever that's being played in the media. Sometimes a lot is also being played very well by the media to basically portray that. But in reality, I personally believe that it's time for us to have that transition moving forward. Kalau nak cakap on Islamic terms pula, we never really portray that as well. On Islamic terms, we believe that everyone's rule based on, regardless of their color and religion, we have to be just and fair to everybody. So the same thing applies in the education system. It all starts from the education system, I believe. So that change, I believe, will happen slowly in time for that to happen, obviously. But we have to educate the elder generation as well about this. But most important, I believe that on a personal level, I think it's about time for us to educate the other young people as well in schools, our brothers, sisters, and talk to them about it's important to respect others and respect others and believe in others as well, and also agree to disagree on certain things, but we respect and we appreciate their culture, religion, and races. That's it.
Okay, I think while you're still having a mic, it's best to address the last question. I mean, the second last question as well. On are we addressing the right issue when it comes to dealing with problems related to narcotics or drugs?
No, I think on a personal, on my working day basis, on the government side as well, working for the Deputy Prime Minister, he has come up with different policies. We had we had a very open discussion in Malacca recently, a couple of weeks ago, on things to change with the drug policies and acts and everything. So we have 5 different acts, obviously, like I told you before. Ada 5 akta. One of the focus is the akta pemulihan dan rawatan. Is obviously because I feel like that's been brought up by the ministry as well, is that sudahlah masuk penjara and direman and everything straight. Because I think that's a very, very important issue. You cakap, okay, they come back, they go out, they come back again. But I think we cannot leave these people alone. We cannot leave them aside and say, okay, we've done our part, but if they want to do it again, it's up to them. No, I don't believe in that. I believe that it's an ongoing process. It's a never giving up process. You have to guide these people, help them to rehabilitate. And I think we've done that in many, many different areas in Malaysia. I don't have the statistics with me, but on a personal level, I can actually provide you with the statistics. On the policy making, I think especially orang yang mengedar, I think we are coming up with a special mahkamah khas untuk dadah sahaja, to focus on menangkap orang-orang yang mengedar dadah and then get all these cases. There's a lot of cases before that hasn't been solved, and what we're doing that by creating this special court, the special drug court. So on the policy making, I think we're doing it. Maybe a lot of you guys don't know about it. I think we're slowly working on it and trying to make it happen, and you will see the results in the next coming years for sure. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Second question, interesting one from the lady over there. Is NATO a generic thing, meaning is it just for you guys or is it for everyone? Am I right? Did I put it in the right way?
The effort you ask, or is it you also have to involve people?
So basically, so basically, whether it is an individual thing or more towards a collaborative effort, meaning everyone has to get involved. And I think the best person to answer this would be Ilham.
Sure, I'll answer your question on that. Well, that's right. When I presented my slides just now, I was putting strictly on figures, and he also have actually presented the figures. We are indeed having. I was talking strictly on voluntarism. Okay, when I talk about NATO, I was focusing on voluntarism. I gave the numbers on voluntarism, and I was talking based on the statistics in voluntarism, which we are actually recording a very low numbers. Not many youth in Malaysia, I'm not sure whether they are not interested or they are just not volunteering enough. As I mentioned just now, we will be hosting the SEA Games in 2017 next year, and we are collecting the interested parties to be part of the volunteers, and we still are we are very far from meeting numbers. So it is not only for us, but it's also for everyone. And she touched a bit on the youth parliament, whether it is just no action talk in youth parliament. To me, I know youth parliament is not the only solution when it comes to youth. I personally will encourage all sorts of engagement with the youth. The reason why they started youth parliament was because they thought those youth who are active in youth activism are those who belongs to youth societies, youth associations, youth organizations. But the numbers are very low. Only 15% of the youth. These are research and statistics done by the KBS, by the Research Institute in KBS. The numbers are very low. Only 15% of the youth are actually involved in organization, in youth organization, youth association. So the reason why the government started youth parliament is to encourage the remaining 85% of the people, of the youth, to voice out their opinions, to voice out their grouses to the government. They are actually providing us a platform. Whether it's a perfect platform, whether it's the only platform, I don't think so. It is just one of the platforms. And when YBKJ was like, I told him, I encourage you to actually have more activities like this. So he started more. He started the MPPK for the Mahasiswa, because youth parliament, MPPK only represent those who are in local universities. Youth parliament, I also have friends who only graduate only with the SPM and in youth parliament. So the trick is to go to the ground. That's what government should do. You have to listen to as many people as possible. You don't have to follow what they want. You just have to listen. You have to evaluate, and you choose and formulate the best policy that can cater to as many people as possible. So that is my opinion.
I understand differently with the question. Let's say there is a platform ABC, but the one that I wanted to do is not that. Not A, not B, not C. I want to do something different. But there's no platform. So does that make me NATO? Correct.
Question?
Okay. So to me,
thank you for answering the question. I was going there.
I would like to answer that with the first question regarding the schools. To me, the schools is already there. Okay, should we change? Yes, he's right. Can he change it? Yes, he can. Can we change it? I don't know. But rather than focusing on that, and you know that in that position you cannot, which is the platform D, that is not available. A, B, C is planning for it, that's not what I want. D is what I want. So basically, you have to make your own platform for that. You actually, the thing is, when you talk about that and you believe that that causes racial tension, it only causes tension is if you play. If you make it in play, if you let it be. But to me, I always believe that as a Malay, if I show good values, people will go. People will go to places with good values. They will come to you. Suddenly, you have a platform. So basically, you want to change something, it starts with you. People like you, they follow you. That becomes a platform. That makes work to happen, and then my brothers here will create a platform D for you because they found it powerful. That's the thing. Don't wait for them.
I hear you, brother.
You start, they will come to you. Sorry.
Okay, so did Azmi answer your question? Okay, fantastic. Okay, actually, I should have taken the mic from you. You have one question. So your
emotional sensitivity issues. Yes, I get that all the time. It's not a strategy. It's not a strategy because I cannot feed telenovela, you see. But that's what is real. If I go to facts, I need statistics. And I think that's boring. Before I go into statistics, I think I have to understand how it feels like. And I actually need the reader to actually understand how it feels like to be in that position. You know, to be in that position for that family. What if it's your family? See, because of you again. So it's not a strategy, but it's to bring, because what I see is something that I need to share. I don't have a budget for a film. I have my writings over free Facebook using postage. So that's what I bring, what I see, how I feel, and that's drawn to you for that. But cannot blame me, Petronas use that all the time. As well. You know, it's not a strategy, it's how I want you to see things. And there's no right or wrong about it. It's about feelings, there's nothing right or wrong. And as I like to do pilot project, meaning that I try it out, because Malaysia boleh, so you try that out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, come on, prove it. So, I get emotional if they get to know, but say, okay, yeah, I'm an asshole, I'm flaky.
Okay, alright, thank you. And to answer the final question we have for Adam, what is your hope for the country? Well, I think let's keep it short, sweet, and simple, shall we?
Hope for the country. Short, sweet, simple. My hope for the country will be this room. I want the whole country to be like this room, where everyone is here sharing different ideas, debating without having to worry about anything. Also because you can actually see that we have different creed and colors and we have different ideology. We have some people come from political parties, some people are not even belong to any political parties. NGI, non-governmental individuals, NGI, non-governable individuals. A lot of people in here. But we can still sit and talk about things and we can still smile and laugh about it. I think that will be my hope for the day.
Fantastic. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we end our session for